Good afternoon and welcome to the Algebra 2 lessons. First of all, I would like to say that I'm really glad how we prepare first one lesson. So let's keep focus and we will be okay with polynomial. Today we will talk about polynomials, linear factors and zeros. And after this lesson, you should be know how to factor polynomials. It means writing a polynomial in the factored form. Secondly, you need to know how to find zeros of polynomial function. And you need to know how to graph the function. And third one, you should know how to write a polynomial function from the zeros. And we will use factor theorem. So these three questions what we will focus today, and let's see. First of all, we will talk about factoring polynomial. What means factoring? If you write a polynomial as the product of two or more polynomials, you have factored the polynomial. Here's an example. You have x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12. And we will factor this polynomial. First of all, we should combine two terms, which one x cubed minus 3x squared, and another two terms, negative 4x plus 12. Let's start from first one, x cubed minus 3x squared. We see that we can put x squared out of the parentheses. So x cubed divided by x squared will be x. And negative 3x squared divided by x squared will be negative 3. So we factored two of our terms. And right now we look for another one. Negative 4x and plus 12. We can put negative 4 out of the parentheses. Negative 4x divided by negative 4 will be x. And positive 12 divided by negative 4 will be negative 3. Right now, we look at that we have the same x minus 3 and over here x minus 3. So we can factor more. We will write that it will be x minus 3 x squared minus 4. Did we factor? Yes. Did we factor completely? No, because we can factor more. We see that x squared minus 4 is difference of two squares. X to the square and 2 to the square. And we will use formula, so we can write down that it will be x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 2 and multiplied by x plus 2. You, of course, remember formula. Square of the first variable minus square of the second number. So it will be difference of variable and number multiplied by sum of variable and number. So right now we factor completely. And this what we need to do. We need to factor completely. How we can check? If you want to check your work, you should just multiply x minus 3 times x minus 2, and after product you need to multiply by x plus 2. If you will have polynomial what we started from, it means that you did your work right. We will practice a little bit more tomorrow in the class. Next one, question what we will focus is how to find zeros of polynomial function and how to graph the function. We have polynomial in the factored form. We have y equals, or function of x equals, what is the same, x minus 5 times x plus 5 and times x minus 3. It means to find zeros or roots or solution of polynomial, we need say that y equals 0. So it means that product of the x minus 5, x plus 5 and x minus 3 equals 0. In which case it's possible to have product 0, that one of them, or x minus 5 or x plus 5 or x minus 3 will be equal 0. Let's do this. X minus 5 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. So in this case, we add 5, we have x equals 5. In another case, we have subtract 5 from both sides. Particularly, we have one-step equation. We have x equals negative 5. And over here, we add 3. We have x equals 3. So x first equals 5, x second equals negative 5, and x3 equals positive 3. We have 3 zeros. So we can write that zeros of the function are zeros are 5, negative 5, and 3. So we successfully did our first part and we found the zeros of polynomial. Right now we need to focus how to graph. I know that zeros of polynomials, I have 3 of them. It will be case when our function equals 0. So I will put on the graph 3 points. 5, negative 5, and 3. And I know wherever my graph will go in, it definitely will cross out x-axis in the 3 points, negative 5, 3, and 5. But how do I know what will be between these points? So what will be over here in this area, what will be in this area, and what will be before and after our points. We will make a test. You see, between negative 5 and 3, we see our y equals 0 point over here. It's always good to know what will be our y-intercept. So, in this point, y equals, we don't know, we will find out. But we know that x equals 0. So we will plug in our equation that x equals 0. We have function of 0 will be x equals 0, so 0 minus 5 x equals 0, 0 plus 5, and again x equals 0, it will be 0 minus 3. 0 minus 5, negative 5. 0 plus 5, 5, and 0 minus 3, negative 3. So we have positive number, and it will be 5 times negative 5 times positive 5, negative 25, and times negative 3, it will be positive 75. So I will put y-intercept equals 75. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. I know that my graph will cross y-axis in this point. Right now I have something between 0 and negative 5. I can plug any number. Let me plug negative 3. So we find function of 3 equals, you remember that our x right now equals negative 3. Negative 3 minus 5, negative 3 plus 5, and negative 3 minus 3. Negative 3 and negative 5, negative 8. Negative 3 and positive 5, it will be positive 2. And negative 3 and negative 3, negative 6. So our result will be negative 8 times 2 will be negative 16, and negative 16 times negative 6, it will be negative 96. Sorry, it will be positive 96. Sorry, positive 96. Negative times negative will be positive 96. So if x equals 3, negative 3, if x equals negative 3, y will be 96. Negative 3, and we go in to the 96. So we have some point over here. And last one, we need to figure out what will be between 3 and 5. Let's do this. Let's take point 4. Function of x equals 4 will be 4. You remember our x will be 4, and we plug in our original function. So 4 minus 5 times x plus 5 and x4, so it will be 4 plus 5, and times 4 minus 3. 4 minus 5, negative 1. 4 plus 5, 9. And 4 minus 3, 1. So we have negative 1 times 9. Negative 9, and times 1, it will be negative 9. So when our x equals 4, y function will be negative 1, negative 2, negative. Sorry, it's here it's negative 10. So we will have negative 9, almost over here. It will be third point, what we find out. So right now we can connect our 3 points. We will have over here, after we come over here, and over here. And the last one, what we need to figure out. We need to figure out what will be in the beginning and what will be in the end of function. Do we have our a coefficient? Yes, we do. It will be positive 1. So if we have positive our leading coefficient, it means that in the end of behavior, our function will increase. So here our function will increase. And we know that we have deal with function. If you multiply x by x by x, it will be x to the third power. So degree of this function will be a. So if we have degree odd, it means that our function is odd. If we have in the end of behavior, we have function increasing, function goes up, and function is odd, it means that from the beginning, our function will go down. So we complete our graph. And third question, what we will today cover, it will be how to write a polynomial function from zeros. And before we talk about this, we need to learn factor theorem. Factor theorem states that the expression x minus a is a factor of polynomial if and only if the value a is a zero of the related polynomial function. And because sometimes it's really not so easy, I will take that you can cover more example from your book. For example, you have cubic polynomial function in standard form, and this cubic polynomial function in standard form has zeros, -2, 2, and 3. Zeros. -2, 2, and 3. How we can write our function? You remember that if our zeros -2, our factor will be x plus 2. You remember this. Next one, if our 0 will be 2, it means that our factor will be x minus 2. And if our zeros equals 3, it means that our factor will be x minus 3. And we have function of x. So we already wrote our function in the factor way. But if we need represent our function in the standard form, what we will do? We will multiply. First of all, we can see that x plus 2 times x minus 2, it will be squared of the x minus squared of the 2, minus 4. You remember our formula. And function of x equals. Right now, we need to use FOIL and multiply x squared minus 4 times x minus 3. You know how we use FOIL. We take x squared, multiply by x, and x squared multiplied by -3. So we have function of x equals x squared times x cubed. X squared times negative 3 minus 3x squared. After we multiply this way, because we remember about 4. Negative 4 times x, negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 3, positive 12. We see two like terms. Negative. So we don't have even like terms over here. So we have our function in the standard way will be x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12. You can have a little bit more complicated problems. It doesn't matter. You will have the same way to solve. You will use the same key concept to solve. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm sure that you will take notes and you will prepare for tomorrow. Have a great day.